Chainsaw Man Part 1 is a subversive masterpiece. The main theme is intimacy, therefore all of the important characters are women in Denji's life. But there's something beneath the surface that makes the story so emotionally destructive, and it's what makes Denji's story so captivating. Years ago, I said Chainsaw Man is a story about love, but what no one realized is that Chainsaw Man's story is the exact opposite. Everyone knows how Denji's love for his new family helped him mature, but more importantly, love was used to systematically destroy Denji at every turn. In Chainsaw Man, love is not a beautiful expression of connection, but a destructive and terrifying tool used to rip apart the entire world from the inside. In this video, I'll explain in detail how, at every turn, Denji's love was used as a tool to deconstruct and destroy him by every person he knew. Everyone knows this is how Makima manipulated Denji, but it goes much deeper than that, and I'll show you why. Love is a building block. It is used to mend, to heal, to make something whole. It is fuel. It's motivation. I love art, so I paint. I love animals, so I care for pets. I love older women, but in Chainsaw Man, love is used as a tool to destroy everything. Love tears apart everything in its path, and it's used to completely eradicate any joy felt. Love in Chainsaw Man is the embodiment of destruction. The characters, plot, settings, all of them crumble and fall apart when love is interjected until everything unravels in the end. We can see this by looking at characters, how those characters affect the plot, and how that plot affects the setting. Power is an evil, emotionless fiend, but she develops the ability to feel emotions when a cat shows her genuine affection. This basic show of love lays the groundwork for developing relationships, which sprouts when she encounters Denji and he risks everything to save her cat. This shows power that the cat and what the cat means can also be applied to other things too. Power feels so much love for and from her new family that she becomes human. After being traumatized by the darkness devil, she withdraws, and instead of a boisterous, irritating bitch, she becomes a quiet, sensitive girl with a very intimate and close sibling relationship with Denji. Love is used to deconstruct the essence of what power is: a devil. Just like love is used to deconstruct Aki and completely warp his goals and desires over time until he gives up everything he wanted and loses his life because of it. At first, Aki feels nothing. He's the edgy Sasuke character that lives only for revenge and doesn't care about Denji or power and only likes Makima because he's brainwashed. His only desire is to kill the gun devil and will throw away his life and everything else to succeed. And love shatters all of that. This facade of cold emotions and unfeeling determination, it's how Aki copes until he can get to his end goal. We see him cry when his coworkers and friends die. He grieves like a normal person in a field of apathetic psychopaths, and he intentionally lies to Makima to protect power from being executed. Even then, love is used to curse him and completely destroy him. After spending so long isolating himself from love, he lets it back in and ruins his life because of it. By Aki gaining a new family, it sets up the ultimate tragedy when his love is used by Makima to completely destroy everything they had built up. If Aki had not been loved by Denji, he wouldn't have been turned into the gun fiend to break Denji. Aki was no more than a tool and a side effect to a bigger plan. Aki lost everything, only to be stripped of his facade and have things taken from him he didn't even know he had. He witnessed endless tragedy just because he was allowed to love. Just like how Denji was a witness to the whole world falling apart. Like Pochita, Denji had nothing, was nothing, and it's this that allowed Pochita to love Denji. This is the only pure, untainted form of love shown throughout the entire series. Makima is the complete opposite. Makima has everything, but it's not enough. She wants Chainsaw Man, so when Makima finds them, she has a huge issue that she needs to solve. Fuck man, look at how much aura Denji has at the end of part 1. He's so mature. I hope something doesn't come and change. Oh fuck, I wish I had aura like this. Oh wait, I do, and you can too, with the sponsor of this video, Aura. Between AI data training and GeoGuessr supervillains, privacy is more important than ever. And it's never been easier to take back your personal information and gain control over your privacy than with Aura, who are providing you with a free 2-week trial. Aura monitors your personal data and searches billions of data points like the dark web, where mass masses of this information is sold off. But also, real-time data breach alerts, a VPN, data broker opt-out so companies can't sell your information, a password manager, credit score monitoring, and more. 2 weeks free with the link aura.com/sparemango. The idea of starting to undo all of the leaks from data sellers was so daunting, no exaggeration, the trial could not be easier to sign up for. Have you ever looked up your name on Google and been like, damn, that's my whole address? You can easily start the complex process that is taking back your privacy with aura.com/sparemango to try 14 days for free. Speaking of problems, at the start of the series, Makima had a huge problem. She found Chainsaw Man, but he was locked into a contract. As long as Denji was happy, Pochita would remain locked away as his heart. If Denji had a heart, if he was living his dream of having a simple life, then the contract would never break. And this was a problem. Denji never had anything. To someone that has had nothing, everything is a dream to them. Denji did not have the capacity for love, so Makima had to fix that. She had to make him experience the world, feel what it's like to be alive, so he would have a new frame of reference to judge, so that he could understand what it's like to be broken. You take a boy, use love to show him how amazing life is, and use that to completely destroy him. Makima used love as a tool so that she could have the one thing that anyone ever cared about, Chainsaw Man. She paired power with Denji so he would have someone to relate to and work with. She knew Aki was more impressionable, so she put them all together. She fostered social interactions and encouraged that they all bond. She put them all in the same apartment. Makima did everything in her power to make Denji feel loved, accepted, understood, appreciated, and valued. Makima groomed him, made him completely obsessed with her, so that when she obliterated everything he's loved, that betrayal would hurt so much more. When drunk Himeno kissed Denji, Makima didn't care because she knew that was meaningless. When Denji nearly experienced genuine love with Reze, Makima snuffed it out because it would interfere with her hold on him. Every single moment in part 1, every small interaction, every relationship, and every bit of happiness and joy was completely made up by Makima so that she could plan the ultimate betrayal, so that she could systematically and fundamentally wipe out Denji and erase him as a person because she couldn't actually kill him. When Makima eventually does start the downfall of Denji's life, it's calculated. Denji has to kill his brother, and just when he thinks he's safe, being comforted and processing his trauma with Makima, Power comes, and she's the most human we've ever seen. Power is starting to get over her debilitating PTSD, only to have it erased in an instant while Makima cackles in the background and it all sets in. Denji doesn't know why or understand, but despite that, throughout the entire ending of part 1, his path is unexpected, and it's because of one huge issue in Makima's plan. Makima miscalculated. She can't tell the difference between genuine human attachment and fabricated, feigned love. It's why she ultimately fails. She's not human. She can't account for how strong that love actually made Denji. Through giving him the world to destroy him, she also accidentally gave him immeasurable strength, and she could never account for that because she has never felt love. In her mind, Denji would instantly crumble. Love to Makima is like a calculation. Denji has love. Take away the love and there is nothing. He will break. But love is not something you have. It's something you feel. So she expects him to fail when he has nothing left, but love has been ingrained into him, which is why he surpasses expectations. Denji understood love, and it's that carelessness from Makima that developed his ability to feel and understand other people, which is how he knows that Makima never realized he was his own person, which inevitably led to her downfall. Makima deconstructed Denji by giving him love, not knowing he would use that same love to deconstruct her. Even though Denji lost all of his love in the end, he still kept love in his heart, which is what let him step past the fake love and move on from the lies. This is what taught Denji that it's okay to let go. Wow, amazing character progression. Thankfully, Denji has moved on, and he's no longer a bumbling fucking Okay, so now, how do Denji's relationships with different women relate to the plot, themes, and tropes, and how is love used to subvert all of it? Chainsaw Man's main villains are all women, which has already been said to death, but even in smaller, in-between arcs, where there are more conflicts, there is always a woman tied into it. Makima shows up after the Zombie Devil arc, forcing Denji to become her worker. Power betrays Denji and forces the fight with the Bat Devil to happen. The Eternity Devil arc sees Kobeni and Himeno trying to throw Denji away to escape, while Power just escalates the situation. In the Katana Man arc, the Snake Girl, whose name I don't care about because she sucks, is at the forefront of the planning and attacks against public safety. Obviously, Reze has her own arc, and the International Assassins arc is dominated by Santa Claus. The Gun Devil arc is the culmination of Makima's plans, and the final arc is the actual direct conflict with Makima. The point is, women are central to the story, and conflicts in Chainsaw Man is both support and struggles. Denji's relationships with his family and friends build his world, and his relationships with women build the story. Even when those women don't relate to them, the arcs they take over represent new areas in Denji's journey of understanding love. What is by far the most fascinating, though, is this all takes form in the shape of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Makima enters and fulfills his needs for shelter, food, water, resources necessary to live, the physiological. The next step is family, friends, intimacy, and connection. Power and Aki, once their unit comes together, give him the stability, safety, space, and need to feel wanted. When Denji gets more friends and deepens his daily life with his new family and makes friends with fiends, it fills out his needs for love and belonging. He now has a place in a group of people that he belongs to. Denji's past is brought back in the form of Katana Man, and he confronts things that used to affect him while coming to terms with new connections, while also losing a few of those connections. It's here that it transitions to the need for self-esteem. Denji grapples with all of this, and after experiencing these connections, he's still left lacking because he has no inner identity. They only care about him as the Chainsaw Man hybrid, not as a young man. Reze comes in to change this. She manipulates him and uses him, attacks him, and she's a major antagonist, and also a terrorist, I guess. But in the end, she recognizes Denji as a person and genuinely cares for him, shows him that he, as a person, has value outside of being Chainsaw Man. This is an issue for Makima. If she allowed Denji to develop self-esteem, it would be harder to take everything and make him suffer, which is why she kills Reze. The building of Denji's identity continues in the International Assassins arc, where his status and reputation is now global. He's the spotlight of the world, and the fights that come out of this only reinforce his ability to fight as Chainsaw Man and solidify the identity that's been building up till now. This ultimately culminates in the Gun Devil arc, where Denji is stripped of everything he has. All that's left is the self, and the remainder of the story is spent building Denji's sense of self up, until in the end, he achieves self-actualization and no longer has the need to rely on others. Denji was gradually built up with love until it was used to destroy him, but by then Denji had already reached the end, and through authentic love was able to become someone who gives love instead. But that right there is why the setting of Chainsaw Man is so different. Every character operates from a place of hatred and fear, so authenticity and care shake the foundations that this world is built on. The twisted world of Public Safety Division operates based on negativity in reaction to the negative world. In this reverse scenario, where emotions are dangerous and detachments hold you back, love is the catalyst that destroys everything it touches. A big theme in the story is understanding that you and everyone else will die at some point fighting devils. And if you don't, you'll end up old, alone, and deconstructed, warped into someone completely different from what you used to be. But none of this would work without the correct background. In a normal shonen, love is the driving force that allows people to succeed and move past their limits. Apathy and detachment are normally seen as weaknesses that lead to failure in every other shonen. The plot of Chainsaw Man being based around suffering and exploitation warps the setting to make the opposite effect. Having attachments opens yourself up for the traumatic setting to exploit those feelings, and over time that will break you down and lead to death. Kishibe survives because he stops caring. The young guys that have something to prove always die. The plot functions in this way because the setting of the story provides the building blocks for every other part. The public safety devil hunting world is twisted. This sets the status quo, so loss and pain are the normal feelings. It's why Kishibe is old and fucked up. Why Makima treats Denji like shit, and obviously obviously uses him, but literally no one cares. Why Aki smokes so much and why he pushes everyone away. It's why Himeno grabs a teenager to make this other teenager that she likes jealous. Why Kobeni is always sobbing and freaking out. The world of devil hunting is fundamentally devoid of love, which is why it has such profound impact when it's brought in. Love seeps in like a poison and infects everything until it spreads throughout the entire cast. Denji, a boy deprived of everything, is placed in and given fake love to destroy him. This accidentally hands him authentic love, which spreads around and breaks apart characters until virtually everyone dies. Spoilers, I guess. Okay, back to women in Chainsaw Man, or should I say pedophile. In part 2, for this section, the 3 main ways Denji's identity is explored are through Asa, Nayuta, and Futaba. The series starts with Asa to show what a normal person's life looks like. It introduces the new setting of a school to recontextualize the entire setting this series takes place in. This girl's class is fucked up. Teacher is fucked up. Then she's killed and turned into a hybrid, and she's also a femcel. Pick a struggle. She doesn't care about Chainsaw Man or news or anything. This is used to explore Denji and his fame. Asa likes Denji, but she doesn't care about Chainsaw Man or his fame, and it's only a means to an end for Yoru to get what she wants. Asa does not see Denji for Chainsaw Man or an idol. She sees him as a normal high school boy. Futaba is the complete opposite. She does not care for Denji at all. She is shallow, a coward, and deceptive to her core. She may be charged with protecting him in a way. Weird that she was like 22 when this happened and her first instinct was to groom him, but you know, she is a Chainsaw Man character, so. She also drops the ball and lets Denji join the Chainsaw Man church, enables a mass genocide, kills 10,000 kids, and she's also ultimately responsible for Denji becoming Chainsaw Man again and fucking everything up, so. Despite all of this love and obsession for Chainsaw Man, Fumiko does not actually care at all. As soon as it becomes dangerous, she abandons her job and leaves everyone out to dry. She doesn't want to save Denji. When he's going to be killed, she only wants superficial pieces of his body. She doesn't care about killing 10,000 younglings despite being a massive Chainsaw Man fan, even though Chainsaw Man's whole identity is being a hero. What he is or does not matter to her. Makima, to her, Denji and Chainsaw, to her, Makima may have used, cut out that last part, fuck that. Makima may have used Denji and discarded him, but Futaba extrapolates this to take it the furthest. Makima threw away Denji for Pochita, but that's because she actually wanted a connection and desired love from Chainsaw Man. But Futaba never cared for either of them, and only views Chainsaw Man as a spectacle to entertain her. This shows Denji's identity as a public figure and a public servant slash hero. Nayuta represents the truest form of love in the entire series, and the culmination of all of the themes. Denji was given love by Makima in the form of Aki and power. Makima could never process love, so Nayuta is the result when Denji gains the ability to love and decides to end the cycle of hatred. This is like a seed that sprouts in Nayuta. In part 1, she's emotionless and analytical, and she still is in part 2, but it's more insular. Instead, she's brash, impulsive, crude, and completely uncaring for anyone that's not Denji. Asa only saw Denji as a person in the context of the world. Futaba saw Denji as a symbol only. Nayuta does not care about either. She only cares about what Denji at his core wants for himself and his future, and she always prioritizes his safety and their daily life above all else. She also wanted to continue Makima's plans and destroy Denji, but his love changed her and gave her what Makima always wanted, and why Nayuta is such an excellent part 2 foil. Makima wanted someone she could view as an equal to recognize her. She knew she could never be loved, and all she wanted was someone that she could not look down on. Makima lacks all of this, so she seeks to destroy to get to Pochita and fulfill her need for connection. Nayuta wanted to understand her identity. She intended to destroy Denji like Makima, to understand herself and find meaning through that. Denji intervened and showed her genuine love, which changed the course of her development. Makima wanted connection by removing Denji to get Chainsaw Man. Nayuta got connection by ignoring Chainsaw Man and loving Denji. Denji is to Nayuta what Pochita is to Makima, but the hate and desire is replaced with love and understanding. This inverse relationship perfected the circle of hatred and love in Chainsaw Man. And this circle, the characters, the plot, and the setting all stem from Makima. She is the center of this story's overarching themes. Her relation to love affects the rest of the series in every way. For example, Aki's backstory is given to us, and we see how at the worst point in his entire life, he can only perceive Denji as his brother, someone that he truly loves from the bottom of his heart. The very last actions taken by these two show the love they hold for each other. Without Makima orchestrating this love for Denji, none of this would have happened. Love shows up in other ways too. Even Denji's want at the start to kiss girls and touch boobs are projections of his desire for intimacy. Not love, intimacy. He doesn't care about Power's physical side, but Makima means something to Denji, so with her it does matter. Denji wants that intimacy, can only process it through lust, and since he lacks that physical connection to anyone, he values himself so little that he sells off his organs for what amounts to pocket change. All of his needs for physical affection are projections from his internalized worthlessness that he only managed to cope with because of his pet devil Pochita, until he grows to love Power, Aki, and Nayuta. This is why Denji tells Makima he'll do anything, why he risks it all with an international terrorist, why he'll become Makima's dog. He just wants to be consoled, and his desire for lust drops to just be in the presence of Makima after what happened with Aki. Even Makima, on some level, does everything out of a twisted sense of love. Makima could never love anyone, and no one could ever love Makima. She never had a chance to make the connections, and that's why she's such an interesting parallel to Denji. Denji had nothing, but gained so much, which is why seeing him lose it hurts. It's also the same reason why Makima has no attachments and can easily throw it all away, why she can't even recognize humans. She loves the concept of humanity, but from the outset, she could never become human like Power or Nayuta because she was never allowed to make the connections that would have let her. That's why Power's cat meant so much. A vital part of her character that portrays a huge value of the story showed very early on. In the end, the story returns to an absence of love, losing so many people around him and set back to square one. After everything that had been done, he wasn't angry. He was sad because he understood the feelings that had caused all of it in the first place, and because he knew the position Makima was in when she had nobody. Denji felt bad and ended the cycle of abuse because he knew what being unlovable was, and having gained love, he had the perspective of seeing someone that was suffering, that Makima lashed out. That is why the story ends with Denji choosing another way, to go a different direction, to intervene this time and provide the love and care that he wasn't given, to spread that to others, once again, even after losing everything. This is why Chainsaw Man is so powerful, because in the end, after having nothing, and then losing everything that started mattering to him, Denji still chooses to love. Chainsaw Man is a story about love. Alright, help me out. Help yourself out by checking Aura out and trying out the trial in the description, aura.com/sparemango. You're beautiful. I love you. Bye. Bye.
I'm at a level you can't quantify. You'll never get bored of me, not yet. I'm back and I'm already on next.